Okay everybody, welcome back to a follow-up video for my Veto tool bag. I will show you some of the mods that I've done to it and try to explain a little bit about how I went about doing it, why I did what I did. So we'll just see what I got going here. Okay, first of all we're going to start with this back row. Originally when I got it, all of the pockets were, well, they were like these pockets. They were big and loose, and they would be perfect for, actually they'd probably be perfect for cutters and pliers and things like that. That's not what I wanted to put there. These pockets in the back row were all basically like these pockets here, and they're nice pockets, and they would probably be perfect pockets for things like cutters and pliers. They're just the right size for that, but they just did not, that's not where I wanted my cutters and pliers. They're not the tallest tools that I carry, so I don't want those. I don't want to put taller tools in front of those. Makes it a little harder. So I wanted my screwdrivers back there. Well, I have some screwdrivers that are short shanked, 6-inch, 5-inch, whatever they are. They fit in there perfect. They don't sink too low. They're easy to get to. And then I have bigger ones. So those worked out perfect. The ones that didn't work out as well were my skinnier, longer shaft screwdrivers. This would have been one pocket right here, and this would have been one pocket right here, and it just seemed like a waste of space for me, because if I left the pockets alone, it would be like taking these skinny little screwdrivers, sticking them in there, and they lean out away from the back, and they're loose and sloppy and floppy, and I don't like that. So that was an issue. The other thing is I have these long Klein magnetic tip nut drivers that I use. I've got a pair of those, and they're kind of skinny, and had I put those in there, actually had I put those in the pocket the way the pocket was, then they're just not organized. They're loose and floppy, and actually this pocket down at this end was actually a little bigger than all these others, so it was even worse. So what I wound up doing, I followed Rat's advice and I bought some Chicago bolts, and there's one there. So I tied that pocket back and turned it into two, and it actually worked perfect, because now my nut drivers fit in there. They're tight to the back, straight up and down. They never move. They're never out of place, and they work perfect. The same thing with this one. I put my longer, skinnier shanked screwdrivers in this one. They're nice and tight to the back. They stand up straight. They're always in the right place. Worked out perfect. I love it. So the Chicago bolts work perfect for that row. Let me get one out and I'll show you the Chicago bolts I have. Okay, I don't know if you can read that card or not. This little cheap camera doesn't want to focus real close up. But basically it says Weaver leather, Chicago screws, nickel brass, 30-1100. And basically what it is a pack of 30 pieces, 15 of each side, Chicago screws. I found these, I actually found them in the hardware store, and in the hardware store, let's see, I think it was Lowe's I was in actually. I found them in Lowe's, and they were like 59 cents a piece, and I didn't want to spend that kind of money. I knew I could do a better job, so I went down to TSC, Tractor Supply, and went back to their area where they do saddles, and they have leather and straps and all kinds of accessories for saddles, and I found a whole box of them. It's 15 pair for $3, so that was much cheaper. So I bought a couple boxes of those, and basically all they are is a screw, female screw, flathead, and then a male screw with a flathead, and then the other insert is like a screw. It's a flathead. Well, there actually is no screwdriver slot for it, but it has female threads, and you put them together. There again, can't hardly do it one-handed, but you get the picture. You put it through a couple pieces of material or whatever you're trying to join, and you screw them together. There you go. You screw them together like that, and it's basically a removable rivet. Very strong, very secure, nice big head, and you can do quite a bit with it. There's actually a lot of things that you can use these for. So that's what I wound up getting, and then I put my holes through the pocket, through this plastic backing material, through the vinyl in the center, and then through the plastic backing material on the other side, but not through the opposite pocket, because I have bigger things in that side. So what I wound up doing was putting that in there, put the insert through, lock the screw down, bam, I turned one pocket into two. They're tightened up, straightened up, they work beautiful. It's solid as a rock. Love it. It turned out perfect, exactly what I wanted. And I wound up doing that to that pocket and that pocket on the first row. Then I moved down to the second row. The second row, these pockets, they came way out. I mean, I probably could drop 4 pliers, 4 pair of pliers and stuff like that in them. And, you know, that holds a lot of tools, but before you know it, you've got a whole bunch of tools and they're all leaning out like this, because you get so much weight, they all just kind of lean out like that. Well, when those lean out, they start covering up the pockets below them, and that's no good. So I decided to go to the second row, and down in the second row I did the same thing. I kind of calculated what tools I was going to put where, and decided how much room I needed, and I ran Chicago bolts through the second row, there and there and there. I did leave these first pockets bigger just for oddball stuff, so that worked out well. And now what I have is I have the perfect pockets I want for my cutters and my crimpers. And let's see, what else did I have in there? I had pocket for my needle nose, pocket for some just slip joint pliers, regular pliers, and then this set of pockets I decided to do slightly different. What I'm doing there is I'm putting a pair of channel locks in each one, but because channel locks are so big, they won't fit in those pockets. And then I drop my lineman pliers in the center, and my vice grips after that. So those are pretty easy to get to. Lineman pliers, vice grips, that's handy. Okay, now at this point I have an entirely open pocket. Still haven't figured out what I'm going to put in there right now, so at this point I'm just dropping a couple of my Allen packs in there. Got another open pocket over here. Haven't figured out what I want to put there yet. Right now I'm just dropping a tape measure in there. But what I wound up having is all of the tools that I had in that huge bag. I put in this bag, and I was amazed at how well the larger bag, all the tools in the larger bag fit this bag, just because it's a little better organized and a little better layout. That was amazing. And now, after tucking all these tools back and getting them straight up and down where they're easy to get to, organized, always in the same place, I find that I've got extra pockets that I've got to figure out what I want to do with. Same on the other side. Something as simple as, getting everything straight and organized really made a huge difference in this thing. I am very, very impressed. So that's what I've got going with this one. I did use the Chicago bolts. I straightened up the pockets in a manner that fits me. It's not going to fit everybody, but honestly, you can take a few of those Chicago bolts and arrange it to fit your tools in any way you wanted and really make a nice package. So I'm impressed with that. That's what I've got so far on the Chicago bolt part. I don't know that I'll put any more in. I'm thinking about maybe a couple some kind of divider system to put in these huge pockets on the bottom, just to separate and keep from rattling around. But I'm not sure yet. Haven't made up my mind. But for now, that's what I've got. And let me zip these pouches up and get this reorganized, and then I'll show you what I did with the snaps. Before I move on to the snaps, I thought I'd give you a quick review of what I've got on this side. Like I said, I didn't do anything as far as closing up any of these pockets because they actually worked very well the way they were for my meters and stuff. They need bigger pockets, and so really didn't need any mods on this side. But basically this is what the other side looked like, and you can see how much bigger those pockets were before I tied them down. But anyway, that's what I have on this side. Now let me move over to the snaps. I think you're really going to like that a lot. Okay, now we're going to go into the second phase of the mods that I did to my Veto bag. And what that was, I moved on and went to, I got these at the Hobby Lobby. It was like, I think it was $5 for a pack of snaps. Yeah, $4.99 for a package of snaps. And then I also had to invest for the tool to set the snaps, and I think that was like $3. So that wasn't bad at all. And all it is a little anvil and a punch with a special end on it to cause it to curl and clamp. And what you do is you take, like in the male snap, you set the male snap in there, you put your material over it, whatever you're wanting to put the snap on, and then you take your snap, your other part of the snap, and put on it, and then you take your punch, stick it in there, and hold it down good and tight, and you smack the punch several times, smack it and wiggle it around a little bit, and what it does is it actually curves, swedges the back of that snap over the front of the snap, and it's on there to stay. Now, I'd done my bags yesterday, so I'll show you what I've got here. The main thing here is you got to keep in mind whether you need male or female to fit up to your application. In this case, what I've got is, it's a nice big field piece bag, and what I put in it is I've got my manometer in there, I've got my pitot probes, I've got several hoses and adapters. I've actually got my vacuum gauge in there right now, but just because there was so much room. But anyway, that's what I've got in that bag at this point, and it's a huge bag, so I decided I want to mount it sideways across the two snaps on the top here. So those are male, so I found the female components and put on this bag yesterday. And then what that does is it allows me to snap it on. Now let me see if I can do this. Hang on, let me snap it on and I will be right back. There we go. So now I've got this bag snapped on the front. It's on my meter side. I can still get into my bag. I can unzip it, reach in, or I can unzip it the rest of the way, and it just lays right down. I can get to everything I need. No problem whatsoever. Or I can raise it back up, zip it back up, and she's back in place. Then, on the other side, what I've done was I set myself up. I've got two smaller bags right there and there. That one there has my combustion analyzer in it, and that one has my carbon monoxide detector. So let me snap those two on and show you what that looks like. Okay, and there we go on the other side, and it's the same way. I can unzip, get into whatever side I need to get into, or unzip both sides. Whole thing will lay down. Get full access to everything. So there we go. I can zip them back up, and everything's in place. Everything's easy to get to. I've got everything I need. In this case, this would be a winter configuration because I have my normal tool bag, I have my combustion analyzer, I have my carbon monoxide detector, I have my manometer, all my hoses, pitot gauges, everything I need, plus everything that's in the bag normally. So that works out perfect. Adds a little more bulk to the bag, makes it a little wider, but it's not bad. It's better than trying to carry 4 bags in my arms. At least they're all tied together and I just pick up one handle and go with it. The meters aren't very heavy. The meters aren't very heavy, so they don't add a lot of weight. They add a little bit of girth to the bag, but it's not a problem. Other than that, if I don't need them, they just pop right off. They're out of the picture. And now I'm back to my normal bag. At the end of the day, if I want everything closed up, pop it all off. Zip it up. I have a nice clean bag, clean lines, nice thin, easy to carry. Everything's protected. If it tips over, I'm not going to lose one single thing. Never be picking my tools up out of the parking lot again. So all in all, I'm calling this the perfect bag for me. It looks good. It fits my needs. I've been able to modify it to fine tune it, get it right where I want it. One other thing I'm going to do, I decided I'm going to upgrade on my impact driver. I'm going to get one of those new, I'm looking at Milwaukee and I'm looking at Makita, but I'm going to get one that has the lithium ion battery, and those have a nice long steel belt clip on the battery end, and I believe I'm going to use the tape measure for that. That's a perfect steel clip The battery's got a steel clip, so it's going to be solid, not break, and I can hang my Makita, just hang it right there on that clip. So I believe that's the way I'm going to go with that. I'll give you all a look at it when I get it. We'll see how she works out. But other than that, let's see. Probably better give you just a couple tips on the Chicago bolts and the snaps. These bags are nylon. Canvas probably wouldn't make too much of a difference if you have canvas bags, but they're nylon. And if you've ever cut nylon rope, you know that once you've cut it, it starts coming unraveled and fraying. And typically what you do is you either cut it with a hot knife, or after you cut it, you take a lighter or something and you melt the end to keep it all tied together so it doesn't fray. You kind of got to do the same thing with these. What I did with these is I just took a big 16 penny nail and I laid the tip of the nail in the flame of my gas stove, got it red hot. Instead of drilling or punching holes in this, what I did was just take the red hot nail and poke a hole through slowly, giving it a chance to sear the edges of the nylon so that it won't start coming unraveled and eventually your snaps pop out. So that's what I did. Just take the hot nail, pierce the nylon, let it set for just a second so that it sears the ends closed, pull it out, pop your snap in. Worked perfect. For the Chicago bolts, same thing. The only difference with the Chicago bolts is you'll see that the male bolt I used the nail for, but the female side, the hole for the female is almost double the diameter. So what I had to do is move up to a drill bit the size of the female side, and so I would pierce the first layer. I would actually pierce all of the layers with the nail, and that would give me a mark of where everything's going to line up. And then all of the layers that the female was going to pass through, I would run back through with a larger drill bit that I've heated up, and that seemed to work out perfect. So just some tips to keep in mind. I believe you might be in trouble if you don't put the holes in the nylon with something hot. I believe it'll come undone over time. So give that some thought. See if you like it. All in all, it worked out very well. Very nice job. I'm very happy with it. I'm thrilled with it. I love it. My bag is now modular. I'm going to add other bags as I need them, as things come along. I've always got options, and I like that. I like having options. So I think that's all I've got for today. I promised I'd give you a follow-up on the rest of it, and there it is. I love the bag. I love the mods, and they work out well. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.